Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon Perna, and today I have your Pittsburgh Steelers and Jacksonville Jaguars predictions. The good news for Steelers fans is Antonio Brown returned to practice this week. The bad news for Steelers fans is Antonio Brown is kind of dumb.
Come on. Be strong. Come on. Come on, AB. Get that right side through. Right side through. Right side through. Fuckers.
I mean, if he would just put some shoes on when he goes outside to get his mail in the freezing cold weather, maybe his goddamn legs wouldn't hurt all the time. Dude, get some Crocs at least when you go outside. The other bad news for Steelers fans is the Jaguars already kicked the shit out of the Steelers once this season. That game was a fluke for Pittsburgh, but we shouldn't discount how dominant the Sacksonville defense is. I'm going to break down this matchup like a Ford Fiesta. The name suggests it's a fun Mexican party, but in reality, it should be called the Ford Drifter because those pieces of shit live on the side of the road. Football. This episode is sponsored by BetDSI.com. There's a link in the description. Use my promo code GOOD25 and BetDSI, which is one of the best sports books out there, is giving you $25 free to wager however you want. You can bet on any game, any sport. Of course, I'm talking football. I am up on the season with my bets. It is free money to you. There's no risk, and you can double your money and then use some of that money to donate to my Patreon account. It's a pretty GD good deal for all of us when you think about it. Right now on BetDSI, the Steelers are listed as 7-point favorites over Jacksonville. I think the game may be a bit closer than that, but this is a tough game to bet on in my opinion. The over-under is set at 41, and even with the Jags defense being as good as it is, I feel like this game will have a higher combined score than 41. Call me crazy. And now that I said it, the final score will be 10-2. Now let me discuss some of the reasons Jacksonville actually has a chance to win this game. Leonard Fournette had 57 rushing yards against the Bills' stout run defense last week. If he only gets 57 against the Steelers, Jacksonville loses, because I would not bet any amount of money on Blake Bortles cranking out 88 rushing yards 2 weeks in a row. Although, this is why Jacksonville has a chance. Leonard Fournette had 181 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns in their first matchup this season. 90 of that came on his last run, but he was effective that day. I think most people currently have mixed feelings on the Steelers' defense, especially now with the absence of Ryan Shazier at the linebacker position. Shazier did join his team at practice this week, and maybe that can be an X factor to consider with the Steelers group playing for Shazier after he suffered that spinal injury earlier this season. The Steelers' run defense was 10th in the NFL this season, but they have given up 14 rushing touchdowns, which to me indicates teams have success rushing on them in the red zone. The strength of the Steelers' defense is the defensive line, and there's a big mismatch up front in Pittsburgh's favor. Stephon Tuitt, if he plays, he's currently injured. Cameron Hayward and TJ Watt should be able to control the line of scrimmage, especially on the Jags' left side, where they're very weak at guard and tackle. As long as those guys can keep Fournette from cleanly breaking to the second level out of Sean Spence and Sean Davis's terrible tackling hands, Pittsburgh should be fine. Hey, Pittsburgh's front office, stop employing guys named Sean to be run stuffers, because it's not working. Shazier was the only high-caliber run stuffer back there, and Vince Williams is going to have to make up for that against Jacksonville. The Steelers' secondary is interesting because as a unit, they're pretty damn good. Nobody talks about their secondary because there isn't a guy back there that sticks out as a dominant shutdown corner or a brutalizing safety or a ball hawk. Yet, they have quietly only given up 20 passing touchdowns, tied for 8th best this season, and a league 5th best 201 passing yards per game. Ryan Shazier had a team-high 3 interceptions, and that was tied with safety Sean Davis. I mention all this because Jacksonville is terrible in the passing game, and they have almost no threats at the wide receiver position unless Allen Hurns or Marquise Lee happen to have a big day. I like young corners. I know that sounds creepy, but look at this freshly painted 19-year-old corner. Oh, any room in the house, and that is a fine corner. Oh, what I really mean is second-year corner Artie Burns and rookie Mike Hilton, who may be the best athlete in that secondary, even though he's only 5'9". Against the Texans, Hilton had 3 sacks. Having him lined up next to TJ Watt going against Cam Robinson, Hilton could easily have another multi-sack game if the Steelers choose to use him that way. It's not like he'll have any receivers to cover anyway. Am I right, Pittsburgh fans? Artie Burns suffered a knee injury this week at practice. Again, no big deal because who can't cover the Jags receivers? Am I right, Steelers fans? I will say Blake Bortles is used to being hated on, and this week he said this.
How much more do you have to do to silence the haters?
Yeah, it'll probably never stop, man. There's people that think LeBron James sucks, so if that happens, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that always think I suck. Appreciate it.
And that is true. Then throw in the fact that Skip Bayless said Tom Brady was a better athlete than LeBron James.
Are you putting LeBron James in the same sentence with Tom Brady? Seriously?
Skip, stop.
No, you stop.
Stop it, Skip.
Well, one guy's won 5 Super Bowls, the other guy's lost 5 finals.
So I just want to make sure, just so I'm hearing you correct. So whomever has the most titles mean they're the greater of the athletes?
In this case, yes.
And the only thing we know for sure is that everybody talks about LeBron James all the time, and Skip Bayless is a fucking idiot who gets paid so much money to say stupid shit. That's basically my dream job. Skip, help me. Help me out, man. I honestly wish Jacksonville was playing New England this week because I think the Jags defense could pulverize the Patriots and then hand them off to the Steelers in the AFC Championship game to finish off. When healthy, the Steelers have the best offense in the NFL, or at least close to the best offense. Jacksonville has the best defense since the 2015 Broncos. I wish I could give Jacksonville the Steelers offense for the next month and watch total football domination happen. In the first meeting this season, this game was very close. The Steelers were leading 9-7 halfway through the third quarter. Antonio Brown had 157 receiving yards that day, which means even the best cornerback duo in the NFL can't cover him. He's not 100% healthy, so I only expect him to get like 99 receiving yards this weekend. Big Ben had his worst day behind the offensive steering wheel since crashing his motorcycle, throwing 5 interceptions to turn a third quarter 9-7 lead into a 30-9 blowout loss. 2 of his interceptions were pick sixes, so basically half of the Jags' points that day. The Jacksonville defense is so good that its lowest rated player on Pro Football Focus has the same rating as TJ Watt. To put it in perspective, the Jags have 3 linebackers that are as good, if not better, than Ryan Shazier. Now, I don't want to be the guy to just hate on Blake Bortles, but I have no confidence in him to carry this team if needed, and I guarantee Roethlisberger's not throwing 5 picks again. If he takes care of the football and the Steelers' defense keeps Fournette in check, how will Jacksonville win? Bortles had 95 passing yards and an interception in the first meeting this season. The Jags' defense will have to score at least 2 touchdowns this weekend to get a W. And I don't think that happens again, but it could. One little thing that kind of worries me is safety Mike Mitchell said this: "We're gonna play the Patriots again. We can play them in hell, we can play them in Haiti, we can play them in New England, we're gonna win." I'm worried because both Mike Mitchell and Donald Trump don't seem to be fans of Haiti. Second, you need to beat Jacksonville first. In order to get to the Super Bowl, Pittsburgh, you have to defeat 2 of the 3 teams that already beat you this year. Not an easy task. I love the Jacksonville Jaguars story. I root for the teams who've never been to the Super Bowl to get there. And they really do have an insanely talented defense. There are no holes in it. But their offense has more holes than a piece of Swiss cheese that's been gangbanged by a bunch of house mice. As a Broncos fan, I have seen an elite, and I mean truly elite level defense carry a team to a Super Bowl and win. But that team had Peyton Manning doing things with his mind, like a Jedi. Bortles is at best lumpy. Chewbacca's son from the Star Wars holiday special. Sorry, Blake, the holidays are over, and I'm picking Pittsburgh because they are a more complete team. I really have no idea how this game will play out. It could be close, it could be high scoring, it could be low scoring, it could be a blowout. No fucking clue, and that's the That's Good Sports guarantee. I don't know what the hell will happen, but I think the Steelers will probably maybe win. I do have big dick shout outs for my new Patreon supporters. I'm talking about Justin Williams and James Cox, and a monster cock pledge from Kevin Parchman Jr. dropping 20 on this channel. You can keep me alive and independent with a monthly donation. I appreciate the support. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Subscribe here on YouTube. You gotta sub to these channels. If you're on Facebook, share the videos. I'm on Twitter at Brandon Perna. If you wanna talk some football this weekend during the games, Bortles versus Big Ben. Who would have thunk it? Huh? Jags, round 2 of the playoffs. Good job.